Hello everyone, welcome to Tennis Fan Video. Aryna Sabalenka defeated Naomi Osaka 6-2, 6-4 to reach the quarterfinals of Indian Wells. After Sabalenka beat Osaka, she headed backstage for her post-match press conference. There, she was asked for her thoughts on the schedule after skipping the two WTA 1000 events in the Middle East. Sabalenka, as honest as ever, called for changes to the WTA calendar. Aryna Sabalenka wouldn't have any tournaments in February after the Australian Open. Scheduling tournaments? Yeah. Well, it's a tough question, said Sabalenka. Me, personally, I wouldn't have any tournaments in February after the Australian Open. But, scheduling is such a tough thing. Sabalenka went on to express her problems with the WTA Tour's mandatory tournament rules. I would just take off this mandatory situation because if you go far in one tournament, you just physically, it's not good for your health to go and play another one because it's mandatory, she said. I would just take off this mandatory situation and then let the player choose where they want to compete and play. Because if you make it far, the Australian Open, it's too soon to play the Middle East swing. So I feel like the mandatory situation, it's too much. Like we got to just lower that number. It's too much. Sabalenka missed both WTA 1000 events in the Middle East this year. And she wasn't the only one, as several top 10 players skipped at least one of Doha and Dubai. WTA Top 10 and their post-Australian Open schedules. Rank. Name. Australian Open Performance. Qatar Open Performance. Dubai Tennis Championships Performance. 1. Aryna Sabalenka. Finalist. 2. Iga Swiatek. Quarterfinalist. 3. Elena Rybakina. Champion. Quarterfinalist. Third round. 4. Coco Gauff. Quarterfinalist. Second round. Semifinalist. 5. Jessica Pegula. Semifinalist. Champion. 6. Amanda Anisimova. Quarterfinalist. Second round. Semifinalist. 7. Jasmine Paolini. Third round. Second round. 8. Mira Andreeva. Fourth round. Third round. Quarterfinalist. 9. Aryna Sabalenka. Semifinalist. Third round. Finalist. 10. Victoria Mboko. Fourth round. Finalist. WTA Top 10 and their post-Australian Open schedules. 4 of the top 10 missed at least one of the two Middle Eastern WTA 1000 events. And the chances are that number will rise in 2027. During a recent press conference at Indian Wells, world number 4 Coco Gauff suggested she may skip the Qatar Open next year. I mean, maybe in the future I'll probably skip Doha. I love Doha, but I consistently have not played well there, she said. Coco Gauff's record at the Qatar Open, 4-5. 2026 Qatar Open, lost in 2 are to Elisabetta Cacciaretto. 2025 Qatar Open, lost in 2 are to Marta Kostyuk. 2024 Qatar Open, lost in 2 are to Katerina Siniakova. 2023 Qatar Open, lost in QF to Veronika Kudermetova. 2022 Qatar Open, lost in QF to Maria Sakkari. I think the season is so packed, and I think having a Grand Slam, and then 1 week later 2 back-to-back 1000s, I mean, I know some people live in Dubai, but especially for American players, it's a long trek. I don't regret it because it already happened. I have done it before, and I have had success later in the season. Yeah, something I would consider, for sure, in the future. I think this past tournament in Dubai, I think it was a coincidence, just bad luck for the tournament with all the injuries and player withdrawals and things like that. I definitely think that goes to show that the schedule maybe is a bit packed in that part of the season. It's something that the tour should consider. Sabalenka and Gauff both think the schedule needs changing, but why can't players choose which tournaments to attend without punishment? The WTA Tour's mandatory tournament rules. According to this year's WTA Tour official rulebook, players must attend all 10 WTA 1000 events, should they qualify. All players must play the WTA tournaments below, WTA 1000s, if they are accepted or would have been accepted if they had entered or been eligible to enter into the singles main draw at the tournament's entry deadline, the rule says. A player will receive a 0-0 ranking point result for each commitment tournament she does not play, which must count on her WTA singles ranking. The 0 ranking point result counts towards their overall tally. Therefore, players who miss mandatory events often suffer ranking drops. Simply reducing the number of mandatory events from 10 to 8, for example, would surely solve the problem. Only time will tell if the powers that be decide to make a change, but it will certainly be something to look out for over the coming months. Tennis is evolving, and the voices of its rising stars are growing louder. Recently, Aryna Sabalenka spoke out, calling for meaningful changes on the WTA Tour, and her comments echoed a sentiment that Coco Gauff has also championed: the need to modernize the women's circuit for players, fans, and the future of the sport. Sabalenka, a fierce competitor known for her power and relentless baseline game, has never been one to shy away from speaking her mind. At a recent press conference, she expressed that while the WTA Tour has achieved incredible growth, there are areas that still need attention. Scheduling, prize distribution, and player well-being were among the key points she highlighted. We need to think about what will make tennis more sustainable for players, Sabalenka said. The tour is demanding, and sometimes it feels like it's not keeping up with our needs. Her words resonated because they aren't just about personal comfort. They touch on the very structure of women's tennis. Sabalenka, already a Grand Slam champion and a top-ranked player, understands that the longevity of the tour depends on creating conditions where players can thrive physically, mentally, and financially. This is not a critique for the sake of criticism. It's a call to evolve the system to meet the challenges of a modern sport. Interestingly, Sabalenka's vision mirrors what Coco Gauff has been advocating. Gauff, still in the early stages of a career that promises greatness, has frequently voiced her desire for changes in tournament formats, ranking structures, and opportunities for younger players. Both athletes, despite differences in experience, are united in a common goal: to ensure that the WTA Tour continues to grow while remaining fair and accessible to all players. The parallels are striking. Gauff emphasizes the voice of emerging talent and long-term sustainability. Sabalenka brings the perspective of those who have weathered the grind and understand the toll of a full season. Together, their calls create a bridge between the current generation and the next, showing that tennis is not just about individual glory, it's about collective progress. Fans and analysts have quickly picked up on this alignment. Social media buzzed with reactions, many applauding both players for using their platforms responsibly. The conversation now includes veteran players, WTA officials, and sponsors, opening the door to potential reforms that could reshape the tour in the coming years. Ultimately, what Sabalenka and Gauff are asking for isn't radical, it's evolution. They are pushing for a WTA Tour that is competitive yet sustainable, challenging yet fair, and innovative while respecting tradition. By speaking up, they are not only advocating for themselves, but for every player who dreams of excelling on the world stage. Tennis thrives on champions, but it flourishes on visionaries. Aryna Sabalenka and Coco Gauff are proving they can be both. Their voices could mark the start of a new era, one where the WTA Tour grows stronger, smarter, and more player-centered than ever before. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share. Till next time.